Well, hello to all you wisdom walkers out there. You're going to be wisdom walking. You have been wisdom walking. You need to be wisdom walking. This is Jojo Pamaria and Saroma coming to you with another edition of what is it? Oh yeah, Astrology for Self Mastery. We made it. We made it to July, which is a fire month, so I'm in my red. A powerful fire month, very powerful. Lots of planetary aspects going on. So much so that I'm actually going to be doing 3 videos for you to cover everything. There's just so much, like so much. And I just wanted to take a moment to say, you know, we're in the thick of a great transformation in human consciousness, in human understanding of what it means to actually be connected to the divine, that you don't have to go through another human being in order for that, to experience that, to know that. So it's a really challenging time. And the last thing we want to do in the times that we're living in, and for everything that's going on, is to fall and stay in victimhood. Now, yes, we can be victimized, and we know of many stories, I don't have to go into it, of, you know, where people are being victimized on this planet, or how even you in your own personal life may be feeling victimized by somebody or something. But wisdom walking means that we're going to choose to not stay in that state of mind. Because when you're a victim, you're like this, you're folded in, trying to protect yourself, you know. And if we're going to move forward into this new age of Aquarius, an elder I was speaking to said this is the age of the divine feminine. You know, we're moving into a time where we can get rebalanced in terms of the male and the female energies. And so we definitely want to learn how to open up to this more beautiful understanding and experience of who we are as human beings and what this planet is really about. Yeah, you know. It's not our garbage. It's not our garbage dump. It's not, oh, we just take from it and don't think about anything. No, that's not what this is about. So to break out of staying victimized by circumstances, people, ideas even, it's important that we do our work. And part of using astrology to do your work on yourself is to help you not feel like you have to be in reaction to things, that you actually do have a choice. And so the planetary energies can be kind of a guide for us. It can be a boundary that we help us set our boundaries and stick to it. But it's a way for us to navigate through our daily life or for the month from a place of it's going to get better. I'm going to be better, and my job is to stay in control, in charge of me. Yeah, and be that best person, that best version of myself. So, without further ado, I am going to go here and add this to the stream so that we can begin to look at some of this powerful astrology that is happening in the month of July. So right off the start, I wanted to share this quote from Narayana Montufar, who is one of the lead astrologers on astrology.com. And she says, a majorly important month is in store, as July brings the astrology of 2021 and 2022 to a climax. Collectively, there will be a release of energy that has been stuck below the surface for quite some time. At a personal level, we must make a big change in the area of our charts ruled by Taurus. something in our lives is begging to be released. And the more we hold on to it, the harder things will be. Seeking liberation and freedom in this part of our lives will be key when embodying this month's vibrations. Yeah. So just to open up with that, because for the planetary aspects that are going on, yeah, it's about we're being asked to release, really step into this transformational energy of 2022. So let's start with today, Friday, July 1st. We open up with Mars squaring Pluto. And Mars is still in Aries. Pluto is still in Capricorn. In fact, it's retrograde in Capricorn. And move my banner here. Apologize for that. As it says here, starting the month on an intense note with this dangerous aspect, power struggles can manifest in physical fights and ruthless attitudes toward the pursuit of power and domination. So just be aware of that. We know we see that playing out on the global scene, on the political scene here in the United States and other countries around the world. It's this battle for who's going to be in control. But we want to just stay very conscious so that we don't fall into that energy. Recognize it and choose to say no to it. Yeah. The opposite is surrender. Like, just leave it alone. That's not what's going to save you. It's not what's going to make you happy. So any kind of conflict that you're in, really choose to step back, to step away. Do not engage. It's not going to be a good day. I mean, this is Mars and Pluto, yeah, in a square. Absolutely. Now, tomorrow on Saturday, very interesting, we get the start of a fire week according to the wisdom that I keep from the Dagger tribe. So the first day of an elemental week falls on Saturday because January 1st was a Saturday. So from a Saturday to a Friday, we call that the elemental week. And it'll be one of the 5 elemental energies that characterizes that week. And so tomorrow, we get a fire week in a fire month in a double fire year. Yeah. And we've got a couple of aspects going on. So the first one is this Mercury in Gemini trining Saturn in Aquarius. Now, this is a very good energy. This is a flow energy. And as it says here, because both planets are air signs, this is especially powerful. Our minds will be clear, strong, and ready to get to work. And that work could be on business, could be also on yourself. Yeah, and that's how I'm looking at it. This is not, let me get to work on me. A return to fundamentals restores the flow to a stuck situation. Can be more than one. The significant transit brings an easy opportunity to harmonize larger structures with original or essential ideas and symbols. So just think about that for a moment. We're coming together, these 2 air signs. You're getting some clarity, you're getting some opening, and fire essentially, even in the Dagger tradition, is about, energy moving something, getting something started up. So here it's talking about how things can get harmonized when you remember to go back to the fundamentals. Yeah, like the golden rule. You want others as you have them do unto you. Absolutely. Now, also on this day, we get Mercury in Gemini squaring Neptune retrograde in Pisces. Yeah. So this one is a square. So again, before we had the aspect that is flow, right? We had a trine. Now on the same day, we're getting a square. And this has kind of been what's been going on, in June, and it's still with us in July, where we'll get a day where we have a square and we have a flow. So here's what the square energy is about. It says a day filled with daydreaming, concentrating on anything rather difficult. not a great idea to make public speeches or work on anything with a lot of important details. Old memories of past hurts may resurface so they can be healed. Yeah. Look deeper for and address the spiritual unconscious or generation spanning components of intractable problems, those really big, heavy, weighty problems. Yeah. Ask yourself if the problem even belongs to you. Yeah, I've done that a lot through the first 6 months of 2022. And then pay close attention to your dreams and synchronicity. So this square is an energy where, and again, it's right, a beginning of a fire week, in a fire month, and a double fire year. So of course, we're going to have some resurfacing of old stuff, but again, to be healed. So to me, this is a day to call on the ancestors for help in all ways, and also forgiveness. Forgiveness is going to be a big theme in these first 10 days of July. Asking for forgiveness, being forgiving. Yeah, this is the fire. This is how we want to use this fire energy for sure. Now, we jump to Monday, July 4th, which is the day of independence in the United States, and of course also the Pluto return. But before the Pluto return, we've got a couple of interesting aspects. The first one is that Mars is now moving into Taurus. And as it says here, the planet of passion and external power enters steady Taurus, making us more determined than ever to achieve our goals. However, it also makes us more stubborn over the next 6 weeks, moving towards our desires at a low pace as we play the long game. So it's almost like this energy, the movement of this planet, is so that we're able to really, be clear that we can reach a goal, like really holding on to that. We can reach this goal, but playing the long game, right? Not rushing, not trying to force something, because it's almost like the universe is wanting us to understand the cosmic law, right? That when something's out of balance, it's going to go back into balance. That's just the way the universe works. So instead of us disbelieving that, let's know that that energy is present for us to use, to have, but we don't have to go in, like become a tank or a gangbuster. Like, don't do that. Just know there's an energy there, play the long game, and you'll see significant shift happening. Yeah. Now, the next aspect is Mercury entering Cancer. Yeah, and as it says here, Mercury moves from Gemini into Cancer, so thoughts and communication take on a deeper meaning for the next 2 weeks. To avoid things too personally, go in, tune in, and listen to your own narrative. Yes, you can make a difference between your pain and that of another. So this is really, really important, because we're in a time where people's nerves are raw. Your nervous system is probably shot. It just fatigued more than you even have a consciousness about. So it's very easy for us to take on other people's pain. Be conscious of that. Say no to that. Or if you find you did it, then find a way to quickly shift out of it. Again, back to that forgiveness piece. Back to that forgiveness piece and calling on the ancestors to really help. So really interesting with these two, shifts of Mars and Mercury at this time. Yeah. Now, another very interesting aspect, and this is something that modern astrologers have begun to use again, going back to honoring asteroids as having an impact on our consciousness, on our vital systems, on our nervous system. And so there are 3 of them that we will be experiencing this month. And the first one two within these first 2 days. And so this first one is called Pallas. And as you can see, there's a picture of Wonder Woman just to give you an understanding of who Pallas Athena is and what she represents. And there's also a picture I put here of her statue, which is outside the Congress or Parliament, the Parliament of Berlin. So really interesting energy. Now, as it says here, the Pallas asteroid inspires all women to channel their life-giving Venus energy through their intellect as well as their bodies. In Gemini, Pallas brings a creative time period as the wise asteroid encourages all humans to seek out the truth and place extra value on intelligence. Yeah, yeah, like that wanting to know the truth, wanting to know the cosmic laws, wanting to know how things are really working. Now, of course, with what has gone on in the United States with the retraction of abortion rights, it's very interesting, the timing that now, boom, we have one of three of the asteroids representing, they call them the goddesses of astrology, showing up in this way. Yeah, and in the sign of Gemini, it's very fascinating. Of course, I'll be leaving you links so that you can, you know, do some more reading if you choose to about these goddesses of astrology. Definitely. So again, this is all happening right on Monday, July the 4th. Yeah. And then we also get Mercury in Cancer sextiling Mars in Taurus. Now, interesting because this is about a good day to socialize during this charismatic aspect. It's a flow energy sextile. And it can be a sensual night if we remember to choose love over fear. So this is a lot of planetary energy going on July 4th, you know. But there's this sweet energy of be connected to people that you love, be connected to friends and family, you know, to really experience the sweetness of what July 4th can be, because it's pretty intense. It's going to be a pretty intense day. But I love that this aspect also shows up. Yeah, yeah. Now, Pluto has been retrograde in Capricorn since April the 29th. And when a planet goes retrograde, that means that the position it's in, it has more time to saturate itself in that and send out the energy of that aspect that it's in. Right. So Pluto in Capricorn, and this has been going on, you know, right, for a couple of years, and it is definitely part of the age of Aquarius shift, because Pluto, being the god of the underworld, the god that's going to bring you into a consciousness about what's in your shadow, in Capricorn, and Capricorn representing our structures, our institutions, our government, you know, our economy. So Pluto has been casting a light on the shadow elements of these structures. And that's why, of course, we've been getting the kinds of things here in the United States and also around the world that have been showing up in terms of, you know, government, religious organizations, schools, on and on and on, right? So this is going on. So this retrograde energy is happening now until October the 8th. So I want you to be conscious of that because, of course, we move into, on July 4th, this Pluto return for the United States. I found so much information about this that I just don't even know how much, how little, whatever to give you. But again, there will be links to the ones that I found inspiring, because, you know, it's you basically know it's like it's a time of reckoning. Now, understand this: the way the planets work is, it's not like lightning out of the sky is going to hit. It's almost the energy of that is there, but it's going to be a process. What this conjunction, this aspect is of the Pluto return. It's basically how Pluto is returning to the exact spot it was in back in 1776 on July 4th when the Declaration of Independence was signed, right? And so, before this time, we have been moving into, kind of the underbelly of what the United States did not do to keep its promise of what I put here. We hold these truths to be self-evident, that all men are created equal, that they are all endowed by their creator with certain unalienable rights, that among these are life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. So, they made this promise that this became a foundation for why they were saying no to King George and to being a part of the British Empire. And so now, 248 years later, as Pluto has come back around, it's time to look at, okay, where are you at on that? Where are you failing in that? But also, where are you achieving that? Is it happening? I found this one astrologer that I liked. Let me see, where's that at? And I thought he just nailed this really, really nicely. I'm going to read this to you quickly. He says, when Pluto comes back around, we will have to reconcile with the darker parts of our history. As mentioned, the themes of this process of reviewing our own shadow history began simmering when Pluto entered Capricorn in 2008. So see, it's been a minute. And the Great Recession popped the bubble on financial systems that control vast sums of wealth, calling into question our banking systems. The exact return reaches much deeper, touching the core of shame in the country's history of racism and the uncomfortable truth that the land we enjoy was taken forcibly from indigenous people, or what I call First Nations people. A great deal of our economic stability was built through the slave trade and the ceaseless extraction of natural resources. The unrest around the topics of racism, capitalism, and climate change are palpable in the tension of public discourse. Some are seeking to hide and cover up the shame through limiting what can be taught in schools. Some are filled with anger, and many with despair. The pandemic has brought much light about the weaknesses and failures of the richest country in the world to take care of its own. So, he then finishes with, wrestling with our shadows and shame is Plutonian work and calls us to engage with the underworld. We cannot do this work and stay the same. The Pluto returns of 2022 are likely to see some of this darkness brought to light, and choices will be made that will set the course for the next 248-year cycle. So, doing this, looking over around to what is going on, giving this kind of overview about what's happening with that. And I did give you also, let me move to my next slide, a little summarizing here of what I thought this was good. And again, back to an understanding that no human on Earth has experienced a Pluto return because our lifespans are much shorter than the 248-year cycle of this mighty planet. However, empires and nations have experienced them. And for the United States, Pluto will return to the exact position, as I said, in 1776. Now, what's interesting too is the Pluto lining up in the same place it was in 1776. There are 3 dates. So the first one was on February 22nd, interesting, a fire month and a double fire day, July 4th, and then again at the end of the year on December 28th. As it says here, this is a big deal because a planetary return is a time to deal with unfinished business in order to begin a fresh cycle of development. And as it also says here, this is shedding light on the injustices, as I went through some of those. I like this. This is Teresa Masani says, while it's impossible to predict the future, this astral weather seems to point to a continued changing of the guards of sorts. a reckoning of the nation's detrimental systems, traditions, and foundations, with particular emphasis on the Capricornian themes of power and leadership. The result, ideally, a priming of the collective for a more sustainable path forward. And then I really like Kyle Thomas's very hopeful quote. He says, "As long as the USA is focused on truly building a better future for everyone, the decades ahead will be exceptionally bright. If not, more enemies will emerge internally as well as on the world stage. Let us use this time to join together rather than succumb to darkness. Let us once again be the light of the world." Yes, yes, yes. Way cool. So again, this is happening. It's an energetic. It's just for us to know about and understand. And also, as I said, this month, and especially on July 4th, it's a time to really call on the ancestors and to do forgiveness work and forgiving work. Ask to be forgiven, ask for forgiveness, that you're letting go of carrying old wounds. The ancestral energy really, really this year wants us to let go of recreating what they've already done, what they've already suffered and been through. This is our time to step into what was their dream, back to that dream of life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. Unfortunately, the mentality of the guys that wrote up that didn't understand how to really do inclusivity, what e pluribus unum is really about. But we do know we can do that. So to me, this is an energy that's asking us to wake up and begin to really take on how we want our future to be. So rather than staying stuck and being victimized and complaining and being angry and upset, let's start imagining the world that we want. Yeah. And that's what I think this energy is for. And again, back to forgiveness, 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 forgiveness. So important. Yeah. Now, moving along, 3 days later, on Thursday, July 7th, we get another goddess of astrology, the Vesta. And this is retrograde in Pisces. So this is another android showing up. And as it says here, Vesta is the brightest and largest asteroid in the sky and is named for the Vestal Virgins in ancient Rome, who were keepers of the sacred flame. If a Vestal chosen at age 6 allowed the flame to go out, she was beaten. Vestals took a vow of chastity for 30 years, at the end of which they were set free and then answered to no man. This gave them a unique status in Roman times, and why the term virgin was often used to describe a woman who belonged to herself. Very interesting. So you combine that with the Pallas Athena energy, Vesta showing up in Pisces, right? Really, really interesting. And the timing of this is so fascinating for me. Also, it says Vesta represents the fire within that empowers us to achieve our sacred contracts with home and family. When retrograde in Pisces, expect big nostalgic energy as we wistfully look back into the past and dreams that were faded. We can choose to shift up our dreams and our goals, change our residence, or experience a deep transformation in our relationships with family. And so this is for male and female, right? Because we all have a feminine part to us, despite whatever gender we are. And so again, this Vesta energy in Pisces is calling us for that. I love that shifting up our dreams and our images. Really, really, really cool. Next day, on Thursday the 8th, we get Mercury in Cancer squaring Jupiter in Aries. Now, this is an interesting aspect. Again, it's a square, so there's a little tightness in this energy, right? It says Mercury is more subtle, often mute in Cancer, and things are challenging when Jupiter, aligned with Aries, wants to bring thoughts into action. Too much confidence can lead to errors during this distracting aspect. Overestimating a situation can lead to destruction and embarrassment. So again, a square energy usually is saying, hold up, hold up, hold up, hold back, don't push, you know. And you may feel it as a conflict around some issue, some relationship, some project that you're working on. But again, it's always okay to step back and take a day to just say, boom, I am going to rest. I'm going to rest. It's going to be okay. And then on Monday the 10th, we get this beautiful sextile between the Sun in Cancer and Uranus in Taurus. You know, Uranus is all about liberation, it's about freedom, it's about movement. And as it says here, a good day to chill out with friends and family. During the carefree aspect today, you may feel energized to break free from restrictive influences and anything that has been restraining your ability to express your authenticity. Yeah, yeah. So again, just this beautiful time to really, as it says, you know, feel carefree, you know, because there, you know, there's like that tension. We start off today with some tension, and then, you know, July 4th has got stuff. But we're by the 10th, there's more of a little bit of a smoothing out, and it really is a little break before we get to our full moon, which will happen, I believe it's on the 14th. And I definitely would do a video for you of that. So there we have it. There we have it for today for you. Yeah, it's a lot. It's a lot. But the good news is that we can have this consciousness that, you know, we're going through a time for things to get put back in balance. Things have been out of balance for decades, for millennia, and we're now at a point as humans to really help things get back into a right way. So that what? So that we can all do this life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. Yeah, that's what we're really here for. So, like I said, I will be putting lots of links for you in the description below this video. And I'm hoping to be able to get the next one out about the full moon by the middle of next week. And maybe then the final one too, because I have some traveling to do and I want to make sure that I do get this done for you. So have a very safe and happy holiday weekend if you're here in the United States. Let us continue, like I said, to call on the ancestors. Do that forgiveness work very consciously. And may you be well and safe if you are traveling. Take your time. Don't take things personally. And let us stay focused on the beautiful future that we can all have if we put our minds and our hearts and our souls into it. I will talk with you again very soon. Bye-bye now.